You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey GH fans, Belinda from Soap Dirt here. And I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed the flirty dynamic between Scott Baldwin and Tracy Quartermaine in that episode that started this week on Monday. I'm just wondering if Lucy Coe's scheme that she cooked up with Scotty is kind of about to blow up in her face because real feelings get involved. Let's break this down, talk about how this could change everything on GH. But hey, subscribe if you haven't already. All right. Now let's chat about this. So you should recall, if you are current on your General Hospital episodes, that Lucy wants Scotty to romance Tracy, trick her into marrying him, and then he can fleece her real good. Why? Well, this is about Lucy's rage that Tracy Quartermaine now owns a big chunk of deception. Lucy wants revenge, and she wants to get personal about this business matter. Scotty's on board because Liesl Obrecht put him out to pasture. He's got time on his hands, no love in his life, so he's got the bandwidth, and he and Lucy have a history of scheming. It's kind of sad, honestly, that he's alone. Scotty tried several times to work it out with Dr. O, but she holds him partially accountable for her daughter Britt Westbourne's death at the hands of the hook killer. If you don't remember, Heather was the hook, but the PCPD suspected Esme. Liz knew it couldn't be Esme because she knew Nicholas was holding Esme captive at the castle. Liz feels guilty for not coming clean, and she did eventually come clean to the cops. But if she'd come clean back then, it might have helped the cops focus their manhunt in a different direction away from Esme, even though they still didn't know it was Heather at the time. So in Liesl's mind, that directly caused Britt's death. And when Scott defended Liz, who, his daughter-in-law, Liesl lost it on him. She is done with him for good because she can't see past the grief and blaming him in part for her losing her daughter. That's where Scott's personal life stands right now. As for Tracy, she's been a widow since early 2022. So it's been almost 2 years. I think he passed away like February 2022. Almost 2 years since Luke was killed under Victor Cassadine's orders. Tracy's grieved, and, she also just grieved the loss of Bobby Spencer, which I'm sure probably reopened the wound, reminding her about losing Luke too. And that's where we've got Tracy right now. Both of these two, they're of an age to be a good match. Both are single. They both grieve the end of their most recent relationships. And what's funny is Scotty's conning Tracy, and Tracy knows it. You may recall she found out at New Year. Remember, BLQ insisted on loading social media onto her granny's phone, and then she followed a bunch of people for her. And then Tracy was flipping through. I think it might have been Felicia's picture from the party. Anyway, she saw this New Year's picture where Lucy was talking to Scotty. In the background, they had their heads together in your classic co-conspirator pose. So Tracy figured it out immediately, but she's still playing cat and mouse with Scotty. And then on Tuesday's episode, Tracy decided to play along with Scotty and see where it goes. So I think she's more interested in, finding out what Lucy's up to and messing with her, and so that's all right. She's going to let this happen. But she also has her guard up. And along the way, though, wouldn't it be fun if the whole dynamic between Scotty and Tracy changed and they fell for each other? I mean, there's a lot of reasons they could click. First of all, I don't know how long you guys have been watching General Hospital, but if you know your GH history, Scotty and Tracy have been in each other's orbits for a long time. There was a period back in the 90s where he was the lead counsel for ELQ. Back when Lucy was with Alan, there was a whole bunch of Scotty and Tracy hijinks. They actually have a lot of personal history together. And they both love their children. They're both very motivated, ambitious. They're both really clever. They both have gorgeous silver hair, nice full heads of hair. a nice hair couple, if nothing else. They've both been married. They've had their kids. So there's no kind of rush for milestones like that. They can both be ruthless, to be sure, occasionally murderous. And I thought their chemistry on this week's episode was off the charts. Scotty made Tracy laugh in spite of herself, even while she knew he was playing her. I also liked how she kind of teased him when he asked if she wanted to go someplace else. And she said, no, you never go to a secondary location. If you didn't get the reference, that's a tip for kidnappings. You're supposed to do everything you can to stop your kidnapper from taking you to a secondary location, because that's where the bad things really happen and you're like more likely to be killed. It's just kind of like a funny wink, wink, nod, nod. So even more thrilling was Tracy agreed to go on another date. I mean, what she said was, I'm not saying no, which was her saying yes without having to say yes. And, Lucy showed up at the Metro Court to watch and make sure Scott didn't mess this up. But then by stalking Tracy and Scotty on their date, Lucy's about to ruin her own romance. Martin Gray's not happy that she's got her eye on Scott Baldwin. In fact, Marty thinks Lucy's got the hots for her ex. So it looks like she's going to have to come clean to Martin unless she wants to put her relationship at risk. I think she's going to tell him. I'm kind of interested to see Marty's reaction. I mean, he may not care. I do suspect he may tell her Scotty's in over his head with the divine Miss Quartermaine. And I agree. I suspect that Tracy is way more woman than he can handle. But I also love the idea of them falling for each other and him just forgetting Lucy's little scheme. I mean, ideally, I'd have Dr. Obrecht back and her and Scotty together, but that seems dead in the water. I do enjoy Tracy's chemistry with both Hammy Finn and his daddy Gregory, but they're both occupied with other women. So I like this idea of them together. And in case you forgot, Tracy and Scotty not only schemed together, but they enjoyed a little afternoon delight on his desk back in the early 90s. So there's some stuff there. She's been there, done that. Maybe she wants another t-shirt though. This, by the way, just for frame of reference, it was back in the Lucy and Alan Quartermaine days. So now, though, they may just revisit this. They may put Tracy with Scotty for real, like with real feelings in it and not just boinking on a desk. A grown-up, mature, but still fun and sexy romance. Yeah. Scotty and Tracy is a ship I can get behind, but what do you guys think would be a good ship name for them? Scacey? Trotty? I'm kind of partial to Trotty, but let me know what you guys think. All right. Please click subscribe if you haven't yet. Definitely drop your comments on what you think about this romance and whether you think they could fall for each other. And be sure and come back soon. This is Belinda from Soap Yard, and I'm here talking General Hospital 7 days a week. So stop back by.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.